Hey, it's been a while since I made a video where I commentate on a run. I haven't done it in a while because it's kind of time consuming, and then it's also very difficult to figure out what other players are doing sometimes. It takes a lot of effort to kind of analyze the run and kind of think about their thought process. So the reason why I'm doing one again this time is because this can be considered like a THELEMA guide part 3 of sorts. I made two THELEMA guides before. They were really heavy information dumps. Some players found it interesting, found it useful, but I'm sure a lot of people found it huge information dump, really hard to process, and doesn't really make sense. For some people, it made more sense after they started playing. For this run, I think it's actually pretty good to talk about because it takes everything from the first guide and second, like everything that's discussed in there. It's actually all applied in this one single run, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, hopefully going over this run will help people figure out why I do the things that I do. And of course, you don't have to do it the same way, but it's just ideas I want to share. It might help you or it might not help you, but it could help you in the future, just depending on how your run goes, because everyone's stats are different and their teams are different. So just the key point is this is not the best way to play the character. It's just ideas that worked for me, and I used it the way I do in this run. And then it sometimes it's situational, but if it works for you, that's great. So I think having more context helps people make decisions in what they should or shouldn't do in their runs because everyone has different needs. So I don't know how often I'll keep doing these series, but I think if I ever do interesting runs and there's an opportunity to share some of the ideas, then I might do this. I might commentate on another of my runs again. All right, so we'll get started. So this is the current cycle, Raven on NA, so it's 538 disturbance. I realize it might be actually kind of annoying because every time I pause, the music's going to stop, and then when I unpause, it's going to play. So first thing I want to point out is there are two different kinds of openers that are common for S0 Thelema. The first one is you alt right now at 1,000 points. If you do alt at 1,000, then and you alt off cooldown, I don't know when the next one will be, but the third alt will be at 896. And ideally, if you kill at 896, that's great. If you take longer, then you just take longer. That's just how it goes. But if you can kill earlier than 896, so you don't use your third alt, then it's actually better to not alt here, I think, and it's better to alt after your first stellar outburst because you're only going to be able to alt twice anyways. So you might as well alt both times in stellar outburst because you'll do more damage. So that's the first thing. So I'll actually do this. I will actually do this in this run because I can kill with only two alts, so I don't need to wait for the third alt at 896. So since I'm using two alts, I might as well just push the alts down a little bit later so I can get more damage. And that actually improves my kill time a little bit. And then, so I precasted her basic, so she already did the first two swings. So the third swing will actually land right when Raven spawns in. So that's this hit. The reason why I'm using basic 3 is because the attacks you use to fill her Banquet Enjoyment will determine how much damage your Moment of Indulgence will do. So basic 3 is actually the highest multiplier for Moment of Indulgence. So since at the beginning I'm kind of waiting for Raven to do one of her attacks that I want to avoid, and I have some time before she does that attack, I'm just optimizing what moves I'm using to fill this. So I actually use basic 3 times. So the first one is just a grounded one. And you'll notice the damage is actually going to be different. These numbers are going to be lower than the ones after it because I believe Thelema's 3-piece Stigmata has a share a glass effect. It basically gives the team a buff, and you get the buff when she hits something. So she hasn't hit anything yet, so this is the unbuff damage. All the hits after will be stronger because the share a glass effect will be the share a glass buff will be in effect. So this is 357, 258. You'll see the numbers higher in the next basic 3. So this is 553, 280, so it's a bit higher. The 280 is actually the bonus damage that you get when you use a move that's different from the previous. So the first one was actually grounded basic 3, and then I actually jumped and then did an aerial basic 3. So that's how the bonus damage is applied here, because ground and air are considered different moves. And THELEMA has a weird interaction with certain bosses, and it's actually pretty common. I can't think of any bosses that don't have this issue, but there should be some. But she has an issue where if she does an aerial attack, aerial basic 3, sorry, she ends up kind of grounding herself. So it prevents the aerial basic 3 from linking into other moves. So if you ever tried using aerial 3 on Raven, for example, and then try using weapon attack afterwards or combo attack afterwards, you'll notice that they don't come out. And that's this weird interaction that she has. It will work once Raven is stunned. So that's if you fill her Plume of Rage bar and then you do the mechanic and then you stun her, then you can actually start using aerial basic 3. But until then, if you use it, you'll actually encounter a lot of problems. That's kind of derailing, but it's sort of relevant here because the aerial basic 3 doesn't link to other moves. So I use an evasion in order to link to the grounded basic 3 that I'll do next. And it's grounded because the aerial basic 3 kind of made her ground herself because of that weird interaction that I just talked about. So that's the third basic 3, and you get the bonus damage because it was actually grounded, aerial, and then grounded, so they're all different. And then that's the jump. So the next sequence is actually going to be a repeat, so the bonus damage shouldn't show up because it's going to be another grounded 3. So you see there's 553 and the bonus damage is missing. So it's not optimal to use the same move twice in a row, but for this attack sequence to flow well, I felt that it made sense to just repeat the move. Otherwise, it will get a little bit weird. I like the timing of how this works, so that's why I did it this way. Because this will actually fit 4 attacks right before Raisin starts attacking, so it tends to work nicely. So that's basic 3. Then there's the weapon active, and then it's the ground to air combo attack. And then another basic 3, and then you see Raven start shooting now. And then just when I land the 4th attack for the 4th meter, and then I have the +2 SP at the bottom because I did a jump. So that's why you can see the ultimate evasion cooldown also is starting to... Oh, actually no, this is from the jump earlier, but so disregard that. But the +2 is because I did a jump and evades this attack, so you get 2 SP for evading attacks. So it lines up perfectly. And then the evade will actually give me the 5th meter, which is this. And then now her Plume of Rage bar is full, so I'm just mashing attack to trigger her mechanic. And then when you trigger Raven's mechanic in phase 1, you have to evade her next attack. So you'll notice I'm actually missing my 6 meter to do Moment of Indulgence, so that lines up with this perfectly. It makes the evade not actually waste time, because I actually need the evade to fill the banquet. So I'm kind of making it do 2 jobs at once. So that kind of makes it more efficient. And then at this point, the Stellar Outburst is ready. So I just go ahead and use it. So the ultimate is used first because when THELEMA uses Moment of Indulgence, it actually reduces the ultimate's cooldown. You can do this up to 3 times every time you use the ultimate. So using it first will allow me to use this Moment of Indulgence to shorten the cooldown. So you can kind of see the cooldown. It reduces it by, I think it looks like 1/8 of the duration, around there. So what's going on after this? Trying to remember what I did. Okay, so the last attack I used to fill meter was aerial basic 3, right? And then because I did evade and then evade again for the 5th and 6th. So this is filling the meter again from scratch. So the grounded air basic 3 is going to be a new move. So that's why you see the bonus damage. That's the 343. So here I actually do a jump first and do a basic 3. So I get the aerial version, and then I do a combo attack. And the reason for this is because another way you could do it is I could do basic 3 on the ground, combo attack from the ground, and then basic 3 in the air. But the issue is the next moment of indulgence will place THELEMA in the air again. This happens when Raven is stunned. When she's not stunned, the moment of indulgence will make THELEMA stay grounded, but when she is, she goes into the air. So I didn't want to end the sequence on aerial basic 3 because the next one is going to start with basic 3 as well. So I did the jump, AAA in the air, and then combo attack. So now the aerial basic 3 will get the bonus damage here. That's the 343k. So that's the reason why I do the moves in this order specifically. And then combo attack, and then grounded AAA. Next is, so Raven is actually not stunned anymore. She's back in the regular Plume of Rage mode. So the issue now is, if I do the triple A in the air, she will have that issue where she can't link to another move that I mentioned earlier. So I have to change the order of moves to work around that. So she's actually going to use weapon active first, and then combo attack, and then AAA on the ground. Now the next thing is, if you ultimate right away, the Phantom will actually not hit. So you have to delay it just a little bit. So I'll actually slow this down since it happens really, really quickly. Once you play a lot, you'll kind of get used to the timing. So play it at 25% speed. So that's the Phantom hit right here, 681913. If I ult it right away, this will not hit. So wait for this to hit first, and then ult. So it does take a little bit of practice to get used to that. So now the one thing I don't like is that the previous move was grounded AAA, so I do lose the bonus damage here, but I couldn't really think of a way to rework the previous sequence. Because if I ended with the weapon active, and then I did Moment of Indulgence, then the Phantom actually won't hit. That was covered in THELEMA Guide 2. So the only option I had was really doing basic 3. If I did combo attack again, so I was in the air first, right? I did weapon attack, combo attack to land on the ground. If I do another combo attack to go back up into the air, it's really, really slow. So that's not worth it. And then, yeah, there's not really any other options, because if you're on the ground, you have to end in basic 3 or combo attack. If you're in the air, same thing, because you can't use weapon moves to before Moment of Indulgence, otherwise your Phantom gets bricked and doesn't attack. So it's kind of limited in what options I had to do, and I had to ground myself because I can't use 3 moves in the air. Because you can't use basic 3 because Raven's not stunned. If I use weapon active, the second move will have to be the hold weapon, which I don't want to use. It's a bit slow and it's not very strong. So the only move you can use really is weapon active and then combo attack. So you have to be on the ground. And so there's actually no other option, is basically what I'm trying to say here. Exhausted all options. I had to end with grounded AAA. So then now it ends up being another grounded AAA, so I lose the bonus damage here. I couldn't really think of a way to work around it. So no bonus damage. So one thing that I did a little bit earlier is I did basic 3 on the ground. I jumped and did aerial basic 3 and then combo attack to land back on the ground. So that is actually pretty good because the aerial combo attack is very fast. The grounded combo attack where she goes up in the air is a lot slower. So ideally, it's better to do AAA in the ground, jump AAA in the air, combo attack. But here I can't because, again, Raven is not stunned, so the AAA in the air will get THELEMA stuck. So I have to do AAA in the ground and then do the slower combo attack that brings her up into the air, and then AAA in the air. A different way you can go about this, which I didn't think of until now, and it could have actually made the run better, maybe, I'm not sure, is I could actually jump, and then instead of using AAA since it doesn't work, I can jump, do weapon active, and then combo attack back into the ground. and then Moment of Indulgence. I think it will be a little bit less damage, but it'll be faster, so it could be worth it. So that's the other option that you could use here. But I went with a combo attack from the ground and then AAA in the air. And then from here, it's just AAA and then weapon active. And then it kills Raven at 899. So like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, if you ult it at 1000, then your third Thelema ult will be 896. So it would kill a little bit slower for me, which is why I didn't do it that way. So the only thing Vita needs to do here is to get enough SP to ult, because she needs to refresh her buff, because the buff expires around the time Stellar Outburst expires. So now the goal for Thelema is she wants to fill the rest of her Banquet Enjoyment so that she can Moment of Indulgence at the beginning of Phase 2. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the attack you use to get Banquet Enjoyment will increase the Moment of Indulgence damage. So I want to fill both of these with basic 3. So I'm going to try it to avoid evading things by accident and fill the meter first. And then I can start evade farming for more Astral Ring intensity. So that's the first basic 3. And then the second basic 3. So now I can just evade farm the rest of the way. The timing for this Moment of Indulgence depends on when you kill Phase 1. So for me, I press evade at 847. Or maybe 846. I'm pretty sure it should be 847 though. I probably paused the video a little bit late. Now, why do I do this? It's because if you actually wait for Raven to initiate her vertical purple attack, and then you evade that, you'll actually, it takes a little bit of time, so you actually lose time. So for me, I went for Moment of Indulgence as fast as possible and skip this evade mechanic. I'll evade an attack later on instead, in exchange for skipping this one, which actually makes the run a bit faster for me. And another thing I should point out is you can't ult at the beginning of Phase 2 because it's still on cooldown here, as you can see, which is why Moment of Indulgence is used first. Some runs, especially the higher rank runs, their ult usage is going to be placed a little bit differently, so their ult might not be on cooldown here. They can use it right away, which is also an option too if it is up. So for this part, I'm sacrificing a bit of damage for speed because I need to make sure that I meet some really tight timings later on in the run. So you won't be able to do this if you don't do enough damage because it might cause problems for you later on. You might want to maximize your damage here, so it kind of depends on each player. It's going to want to do something different here, but for me, I went for speed. So earlier I skipped the evade, which you need for increasing Plume of Rage, because I wanted to go faster. So I get the evade on Raven's next attack sequence to make up for it. But this part is actually a little bit complicated, so I do need to cover it really slowly. So the first 3 attacks I do will be AAA. No, sorry, the first 2 attacks I'm going to do is going to be AAA weapon active. And then the thing that was weird for me is if I went hold weapon, then THELEMA will actually cross up Raven and end up behind her, but Raven has really low IQ, so she'll still shoot in front of her. So basically she shoots in the wrong direction and you have nothing to evade. So it's kind of annoying. So instead of using hold B, I sacrificed the speed for making it easier to dodge Raven's attack. So I just evade canceled the weapon active and then just did basic 3 again. That way I can stay in front of Raven, and then you see she's about to shoot and I'm in front of her. So this actually lines it up better. If I did hold weapon, then like I mentioned, I'll be behind her and she'll be shooting the wrong way. So it's really, really annoying. So I still managed to make it work, even though going this way is slower. Because if you do AAA weapon active, hold weapon, that's 3. You can fit in another attack for 4 and then evade her arrow shot for the 5th one. So my evade is actually only going to be the 4th one. So I'm actually 1 banquet behind. So it's a bit slower, but it works way better because if you do the other way, it's super mulled because Raven does not shoot the right direction. So that's the evade. So again, I'm going to repeat the grounded sequence because I did AAA ground for a third one. I got to do it for the fifth one as well. So I lose a bit of damage, but it just felt more natural because if I do something else here, I guess you could do weapon active, hold weapon, and then you still get the bonus damage and it's a bit faster. But I went for basic 3 weapon active. I think it does a bit more damage even without the bonus damage because hold weapon is kind of weak. But if you want the extra speed, then it might be helpful to go with hold weapon. So there are no bonus damage because it's the same move in a row, twice in a row. And then Stellar Outburst is up, so I just use it. Oh, actually, another thing I wanted to mention, because it just kind of came up and I forgot to talk about it. The attacks you use to fill the Banquet Enjoyment I mentioned, it increases your indulgence damage. So when you use Stellar Outburst, every empty meter you have that Stellar Outburst fills up also gives a multiplier to your moment of indulgence. And it's actually, if I remember correctly, it's 150%, which is higher than any of the other attacks that you can use to fill it, which is basic 3 combo attack and weapon attack. So if you want to maximize Stellar's damage, you actually want to Stellar Outburst with empty meter because the Banquet Enjoyment that you get from Stellar Outburst is better than the other methods of obtaining it from her regular attacks. So if you actually had it all pre-filled and then you Stellar Outburst and your moment of indulgence with your pre-fill meter, your moment of indulgence will actually be weaker because the Stellar Outburst Banquet is stronger. So if I backtrack a little bit, we're at 226, so I'll come back here later. If we backtrack to the very beginning of the run, one of the things that improves my damage is that the opening sequence I use Moment of Indulgence, whoops, a little bit further ahead. This actually empties my meter, and then I use Stellar Outburst with an empty meter. So this is a 6 Stellar Outburst Banquet Enjoyment from Stellar Outburst, Moment of Indulgence. So it makes it, which is what makes it stronger. So it does 2.4 million. So you can go ahead and compare that with your own run and see if you do less because you had the meter pre-filled, 2.4 million. So back to 226. So the same idea here. She has empty meter before using Stellar Outburst. So the 2.4 million you see again, that's the highest moment of indulgence damage that she can do. So the next thing is really, really specific. It doesn't affect me in my run because my run is cooldown gated. But for higher ranked ones, this is actually a really, really high ball thing. So when Raven's Plume of Rage is full, she'll basically intercept your next attacks. Right now I'm at 795. If I go really slow, hold on. Here we go, and play it out. So Thelema's doing her basic attack, the first swing. And then she got intercepted. So the timer is still 795, but that actually took some time, almost about a point worth. And then what happens is, if you want to fill your meter, you have to restart your attack. And what I mean by that is, after the interception, Thelema's doing the first swing of her basic one again. So basically she did this swing twice, so she wastes time. So it's actually possible to trigger Raven's parry mechanic on the hit that gives you Banquet Enjoyment if your Plume of Rage meter just lines up perfectly. So for example, it will be the weapon active hit that gives you Banquet Enjoyment, or maybe the final hit of your combo attack, or the final hit of your basic sequence. So that means the third swing, basic 3. If you actually hit Raven with that attack, then she'll intercept that attack, you'll trigger this mechanic, but you'll also get your Banquet of Enjoyment so that you don't have to restart your attack because the attack that you used actually gave you meter. So that actually would save you time. It can save you at least 1 point, but probably could be up to 2 or 3 points I've seen in some runs. So that's a really, really big ball moment for some players. If your run is cooldown gated, you can be happy because you don't have to worry about this. All right, so back to normal play speed. So after the parry here, I still have a bit of time before the ultimate is up. So I'm going to pre-fill my meter. So that's the basic 3. And I don't remember what move I used last. Oh yeah, it was the weapon active. Yeah, so that's why this got the bonus damage. So the Phantom's about to hit, and I was a little bit slow, so I'm gonna... So if I ult right away, the Phantom actually doesn't hit in time. Oh, I should actually have slowed it down a little bit. Hold on. All right. So the Phantom's about to swing, and then the Phantom actually doesn't hit. So if I go back off 1 frame at a time. So the numbers you see here, 3, 4, 3, 1, 5, 1, 6, 7, 8, it's the same numbers you see in the alt here. So there was no new number that appeared. It's because the Phantom never hit. The Phantom hits, it would be 680k. So if I was a little bit faster, then the Phantom can hit before I ult, and then that would be a good chunk of damage. But thankfully, my run still kill without it. But it's something to look out for, those little things. I'll show the Phantom damage the next time the Phantom swings. You'll see it's 680. So that's another basic 3 on the ground. So this one didn't get the bonus damage. And the reason why is because I could have actually jumped and did aerial basic 3 and then did the air combo, which is what I did in phase 1, if you remember. I know it's quite a long time ago now because this video is so long. But I wasn't sure if it would work because although she is in stun state, the time stop happened before she was stunned. So I actually don't think it is consistent because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I went with what consistently works for me, so I don't have to bald so much. So here she's not stunned yet, and then so she is stunned before I ult, but I ult so quickly that I don't actually know if it counts. So basically what I'm worried about is I'm worried about the AAA in the air getting THELEMA stuck. So instead of doing AAA jump AAA combo attack, I just did AAA. Well, actually, no, never mind. That doesn't apply here because I don't actually need to do a third move because I only have to fill 4 banquet. Okay, so ignore everything I said. Yeah, it's just grounded AAA, jump AAA. What I actually was trying to say is the issue with ending with AAA in the air here is the next sequence is also AAA. That's what the issue was, sorry. So if I wanted more bonus damage, then I wouldn't want to do aerial AAA twice in a row. So to avoid that, I can jump, do aerial AAA in the air, and then combo attack into the ground. That's what I meant. And then the next sequence will be AAA in the air, so then that way it's different. But I was worried about her getting stuck in the air. But similar to earlier in the run, I can jump, do weapon attack, and then combo attack. And that would have avoided the problem as well. I could have tried that here. I didn't think of it until making this video. So to reiterate, I did AAA in the ground, which did not get bonus damage. And then I'm going to jump and do AAA in the air. And then the next attack will also be AAA in the air, so no bonus damage again. So 2 instances of no bonus damage, so it's not really great. So alternatively, it'd be better to jump AAA and do the aerial AAA here. Then you get the bonus damage, and then combo attack, and you get the bonus damage. I just wasn't sure if it would work because the AAA in the air has issues when Raven isn't stunned. She is stunned now, but it's kind of right after. She got stunned and time stopped right after, so I was a little bit uncertain if it would always work. And then after the combo attack, the next sequence will be AAA in the air, so also bonus damage. To get full bonus damage that way, so that'll probably be a more optimal way of doing this. With the only exception that it may not work if you do AAA in the air because of the Raven thing. And then the other way is jump, weapon attack, combo attack, the moment of indulgence, and then the next attack will be AAA in the air. So that also gets full bonus damage. So those are like different things that I could have done here that could have worked better if I needed more damage. I probably would have scrutinized this part a bit more if I actually still had trouble killing But I killed, so once I killed, I stopped running altogether. But if I was struggling, then I would pick apart every little part of the run, see if there's anything I'm missing. So this would be one of the parts where maybe I could squeeze a bit more damage out of. So that was grounded AAA, aerial AAA. So the aerial AAA now doesn't get the bonus damage, as I pointed out earlier. So there I did the AAA in the air combo to AAA. That's just to maximize damage, but I won't do the same sequence the next time because I'm trying to rush for the ultimate cooldown. So I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit. So the next one will actually be weapon attack in the air, and then combo attack, and then AAA in the ground. So I'll do one less AAA. Also forgot, I promised I'd show the phantom damage. So the phantom damage in the AAA is here, 680k. That's the phantom hit that missed earlier when I ulted, because the phantom was a little bit late. So I ulted before the phantom hit. So this is the... oh, sorry, this is still AAA combo attack, and then AAA again, because Raven's still stunned. Or actually, no. Sorry, that was actually the... no, that was AAA... Sorry, it was not AAA combo attack AAA. I changed it to AAA weapon attack combo attack because I wanted to go a little bit faster because I'm chasing the ultimate cooldown. Sorry. getting myself confused here. There's a lot going on. For this one, the order has changed again, and this is because Raven is not stunned anymore. So if I open with AAA, THELEMA will get stuck. So it's going to be weapon attack, combo attack. So weapon attack, combo attack, and then on the ground this time is actually something different because this is purely for the interest of getting the ultimate in time. So she's actually going to do a hold weapon, which is faster. And then the hold weapon will actually make the phantom not attack. But even if the phantom did attack, I don't think it would register anyways because I'm going to be ulting right away. So that will cancel out the phantom. So it's actually two different things here. If you moment of indulgence after a weapon attack input, the phantom will actually just not attack at all. But the other point I was trying to highlight is even if I did an attack where the phantom would normally swing, like if I ended in combo attack or ended in basic 3, the phantom swing wouldn't hit in time because I'm going to be cutting it off with the ultimate anyways. So that's the ultimate here. Oh, actually, just for the people who may not have seen THELEMA Guide 2, so there's two phantoms on the screen here. One is actually from the combo attack from earlier. One is from the hold weapon that I just finished with. So I don't know which one is which. Maybe we should go back just a little bit and play it slower. Okay, here we go. So this phantom, and this is the first one, this is the second one. So I think the third one is actually the one on THELEMA's right-hand side right now. So that one will actually disappear without attacking. So you see it just disappeared and it never even attacked. So that's what happens if you use a weapon input before moment of indulgence. So that was covered in THELEMA Guide 2. So that's why I never end with a weapon attack, except this is the only time I do it in the run because I'm just going for speed. And then that lets me ultimate right off cooldown. The hold weapon on the ground that I ended with also has a small side effect, and that is it actually makes my next AAA do bonus damage because I didn't end in AAA, so that's kind of a small little nice thing. So that's this AAA here. The bonus damage is the 343k. So the goal here is to actually deal enough damage so that I kill Raven after the ult explosion at the end of the time stop happens. I don't have time to land a big moment of indulgence hit on her. So I don't need to build meter quickly because no matter how fast you build a meter, the moment of indulgence damage is backloaded because THELEMA does her spin first and then the explosion at the end. So the explosion is not going to hit in time because it takes a while. So the goal here is to not fill the meter quickly. It's to deal as much damage as you can with the time available. So THELEMA is actually just going to do 3 AAAs because that's the most damaging attack. So she's going to alternate between ground, air, and ground. So this is actually the same thing I did at the very, very beginning of the fight, the opener that I did on Raven. So this is the grounded AAA. She'll jump and do an aerial one. And then because of Thelema's weird interaction with bosses, as mentioned, when she does her AAA in the air and Raven is not stunned, she will kind of be really close to the ground again, which is what prevents her from connecting into other attacks. But it has the nice thing because now if I evade, the evade is mostly just to speed it up. Because if you just do AAA and then Thelema's stuck in the air, you wait for her to land, and then you do AAA, the time it takes for her to land is a little bit slow, so you should evade to make it faster. The evade is actually counted as a ground evade, so if you evade and then do AAA after, it's going to be the grounded version. So it works really nicely for this part. So it's AAA, jump, AAA, evade, and then it'll be grounded AAA. So this one also has the bonus damage because it's aerial, different from the previous one, which is grounded. And then that was the evade, and then she's going to do another basic 3. So this one also has the bonus damage. It's at the bottom here, the 343k. So that's how you can confirm that it was actually ground, air, ground. I don't know what the 45,000 is. It's really weird. There's nothing that can do this little damage. And then the explosion of the ult actually doesn't do any damage because Raven died before it happened. Unless explosion does 45k, but it's way too low. So this number I still don't actually know the cause. It could be from, because I think Thelema has a skill where if she doesn't attack, like she moves around without attacking for a short period of time, the next hit does more damage. So there was a bit of time where she didn't attack because she did that one evade. So that might be what this is. And that's it. So I had a little bit of leeway as well, because if this didn't kill, the explosion does some damage as well, and the explosion should kill. I think the explosion should hit before the timer starts running again, but I am actually not 100% sure about that. So this video is pretty long. It's almost at 40 minutes now. So I don't know if most people who would find this useful would actually want to watch this whole thing. And then I think people who do watch the whole thing might already know most of this stuff here because they probably enjoy spending the time watching deep dives into things. But yeah, hope you found it helpful and gives you more context into why I'm doing the things that I do, especially since Thelema is a pretty flexible character. Most other characters in the game are kind of linear, so a lot of people just upload videos. They don't really type much for explanation because you just watch it, you copy it. There's really nothing special going on. But Thelema has a lot of things happening that are probably worth explaining because I think it's more likely for Thelema runs to not work if you just watch and copy, and then you need to debug it. And when you do, and then it's not easy to figure out what's wrong because she has so many hidden things. So that's basically the purpose of this. Most of the runs probably won't make a commentary on because there's not really much to say. But if there's another run that's as interesting as this one, then maybe I'll do another commentary video. So hopefully this will help you in your Thelema runs, not just for Raven, but every other boss moving forward, because it gives you different ideas to work with. So when you're building your own runs, figuring out how to approach the boss, you can kind of take some of the stuff that was used here, see if it works for you. If it does, that's awesome. All right. See you next time.